and stop playing with them. If I don't, well, how y'all doing? Y'all boys, it has been way too long. I actually meant to look at how long it's been before I started the video. And that's on me. I take complete accountability. I mean, who fault is it? I was supposed to vlog when I went on the cruise. I ain't do that. I was supposed to post a video before I went on the cruise talking about what the hell was going on. I ain't do that. And I feel like it's too late to post that bit because that was like literally like 3-4 weeks ago. And I don't want to even turn this to a 20-minute video. Y'all know me. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, I made a new format style of ad that I seen some other brands and other niches doing. I tried it out myself. If you know, you know, but it's been doing good enough. It allowed me to scale from when I had to scale down budgets to $700 in daily ad spend, all the way up to 1.3K in ad spend before everything fell apart on the cruise, mind you. So I'm on vacation. Yeah, it's cool. Like I wasn't even indulging too much. I thought I was gonna work on the cruise, but cruise was highly expensive. I'm talking about like, bro, they was charging me way too much for waters. I'm talking about, bro, internet over 4 days for one device was like $130. I'm like, dog, be for real. Sometimes you gotta press the be for real card, bro. The be for real button, like be so for real. But I was on the middle of the ocean, and mind you, bro, nigga, I paid for the 120 so I could work. Whole time the internet was still slow. So they got me for 120. Really about $250 just on the internet. Mind you, it was 120 per device, but we're already 2 minutes in. Let's talk about the cruise. That was like 2-3 weeks ago now. I guess last thing about the cruise was it was cool. Every day was making like 2 ROAS. Like the ad concept was crushing. It was so loved. It was lit. I was nervous that every time I bumped budgets, it was gonna fall apart. It didn't. And then I bumped budgets one more time. It was cool. Day 1 had like a 1.7 ROAS. I said, cool. Day 2, I had like a 0.6 ROAS. I said, God, why? I said, why? I'm talking about I lost like maybe $700, $800. And mind you, I'm coming back home. Like I'm traveling, I'm on the airplane. Like I'm on the way back home. I finally get home. It's like 7 p.m. I look at my phone. I said, we losing money. And this was because of like everything was going well. I added another ad that was of that same concept, the same new format that I made. It instantly shot up the top spender in the ad account. Mind you, the ad that I put in the ad account spent 12K in 3 weeks. Like it did pretty good. It just fell apart out of freaking nowhere, bro. Like I said, I want to start talking about the cruise. I want to talk about today. After all that shit happened, I had to scale back down to, I didn't want to scale down too far. I scaled back down to $900 a day ad spend. And yeah, that's where we was at. I think I either scaled down to like 850 or 900. I think it was like 850. Yeah, it was like 800 something. So all that happened. That was about 2 weeks ago. One thing that I started doing was post-purchase surveys. Shout out. I'm about to just write down how to pronounce bro name on my hand. Cousin. My dog, bro. My dog. Family, bro. Shout out him. He's put me on the post-purchase surveys. And I guess something really important that I want to talk about is ownership of data, bro. Like we talk about doing Reddit research, we talk about YouTube research, we talk about all these different avenues of research, bro. Owning your research is peak. And I was first introduced to this when I was running the quiz funnel. I got around 10,000 submissions with questions that I curated, of course, with the intention of optimizing my funnel, but it gave me marketing insights that nobody else had. And I kind of treated that as a unique situation. And I mean, I got on the phone with a couple of customers, and I did create a system recently to allow me to get on the phone with customers every single weekend. I have calls booked with customers, which has been great. Of course, you got to know what questions to ask and what you want to know. But at the end of the day, going to the source for your research, going to the customers, going to your to the market itself and asking these questions, this is stuff that no competitor is going to have. This is stuff that you have complete ownership of, and you're able to, I don't want to say weaponize, but you're able to then utilize that data for your, you know what I'm saying, to hopefully help people if you're selling a good product. Mind you, of course, you can't do this. Like, I can call existing customers that have repurchased, because I have people that have purchased 3-4 times on my store. I can also call abandoned carts because I'm at a level that, you know, I have abandoned carts that I can just go and like look at. But most importantly is the post-purchase survey data. If you get a sale, you have a chance to, you know, have somebody, I think it's like for me, I think it's either between 10 and 20%, like people actually answer the quiz post-purchase stuff. It takes me about like a week and a half to get to around 100 submissions. But that's meaningful stuff, especially depending on what you answer, especially if it's conversion data, especially if it's whatever marketing insights you want, especially if it's understanding their belief system, because that was the unlock for me. I wasn't targeting what men were actively believing in the market. And once that I got my insights on what they were talking about, I was able to make another batch, a couple of ads. I was able to turn around my lander, and I was able to, within 2 weeks, go from having to scale down forcefully and my ads not really doing what they were supposed to be doing, to scaling back up to, I'm at about 1.2K right now, $1,250 in ad spend. And right now we're at a 2 ROAS, but that's we actually got some shit to talk about regarding that. Anyways, though, but yeah, man, just like understanding their belief system and understanding, bro, I found out that it was something crazy. Like 70% of the people that were buying weren't even sure that it would work for them, but they were buying because they didn't have nothing to lose. They were buying because they liked the reviews. They were buying because they liked the way the problem was explained. Some people were saying the ingredients made sense, but I had all this data on what was the main conversion tool for people and what was holding people back. Bro, if people tell you that, I'm talking about 60% of people that are going through the funnel believe this one thing, and I'm not even talking about the one thing that they believe, and that directly correlates to why they don't think it works for them, like that's significant. I also ask people, like, how are they managing the thing that they, you know, what they do to manage it, trying to get some different beliefs. And I found out that the belief that I was, you know, talking about wasn't the main belief, but I think I talked about that before. Being able to cross-reference that data with the other data points that I have, the customer calls, being able to ask better questions. And then what I found recently, so let's talk about how I got there. Yesterday was a bad day. Bad day, bro. I'm talking about, dog, it was like 12 p.m. I had a 0.2 ROAS. I said, I'm gonna quit. I said, it's up. Mind you, the day before I had a 1.7 ROAS. I'm thinking, yeah, it's cool. I go to sleep, I wake up. First thing I did was check my sales. I hate doing that, but now it's a habit. Fuck it. I go to sleep, I wake up, I check my sales. I don't even go to my dashboard. I go to my emails. Something about, because I don't have shop notifications on. So I like going to the email and seeing like, oh, I got a new email, nigga, that's a sale. Bro, I go to my email. Bro, that whole sale, I got one sale from like 12 o'clock in the morning. And since then, nada. And I was up at 12, so I already seen that one. Mind you, I already spent like $200. So I was like, okay, shit. And then time goes on, it's 12 o'clock. Like I said, it's still a 0.2 ROAS. I'm like, bro, should I turn off ads? I don't feel like losing a band. Like, what should I do? It did bounce back to around a 1 ROAS, which is still fuck all, as bro would say. Like, I'm still losing. I still lost like $500-$600 yesterday. And that hurt. I was like, should I scale down? I don't like to scale down off of one day, so I had to hold budgets. Thankfully, I did hold budgets because I'm at a 2 ROAS right now. I did make some minor changes to the website, and I'm about to make some additional changes literally fucking as soon as I end this video. Because I was crabsing. I was starting to look at my PDP. I realized that I haven't updated my PDP, and I updated my PDP 3 times in literally since I started the brand. 3 times I've updated my PDP since I started the brand. And I'm coming from organic, so of course, in organic, you don't even need to make a website unless you get, you know, motion on social media, and that's hard. So I wasn't making that many websites. I was never at a significant level of scale to test all this stuff, so I'm learning all this stuff for the first time, and I'm realizing that everything, I mean, they always say, focus on your hero section. That's where 80% of traffic is going to go. And of course, that is 100% true. But I'm spending 1.2K a day, which is still, I find it to be very insignificant spend, probably because I'm comparing myself to others, but that is what it is. Now, bruh, if you like under my buy button, I kind of was under that understanding of like, okay, everything above the FAQ, really everything above the buy button is where you need to focus your attention at, especially because people are watching the ad, going through the listicle, hitting the PDP. They should just buy. But then I look at Microsoft Clarity. Shout out Microsoft Clarity. It's better than any other platform I've been using. They show you the heat maps. They show you, which is like how far people scroll. They show you where people are putting their attention. So like, let's say at some point of your shit, I don't even know how to. Let's say your FAQ, for example. It will literally tell you how long people are staying on your FAQ or on certain parts of the screen. So you can see like, oh, they scrolled past everything else in about 2 seconds, but they stayed here in this section for 17 seconds. And it actually turns out 30% of people are staying in this section for this amount of time on average, which is highly impactful because, you can just see where people are putting their attention. You can also see where people are clicking, where people are reading. It's impactful stuff. And I found out that after my buy button, 30% of people go below the FAQ. Around 12% of people go to the reviews at the bottom. Now, bro, if you running I'm running 3-minute ads, a listicle, the PDP, and bro, the 13%, 15% of people that go all the way to the bottom of my PDP, those are like my highest intent traffic. And on a day where I'm struggling to even have a 1% conversion rate on the store, you got to think, bro. I'm talking about 13%, mind you, because of how the shit's set up. Like, let's say I have, I don't know, I'm just throwing out numbers. Let's say I have 1,000 store sessions on the day. Because it's being filtered through the listicle, maybe I only get around 200 sessions to my PDP. My PDP technically has a conversion rate of like 5%, which is decent. I'm assuming that's what Claude said. I don't fucking know. But with how the funnel's supposed to be engineered, it's supposed to be warmer than that. It's supposed to be people converting at a higher rate once they hit that PDP, especially if they're scrolling down to the bottom page of the PDP and not buying. There's clearly a gap of conviction that I'm building with most of my consumers. And it's like, if I'm able to boost my product page conversion rate 2%, if I'm able to boost my store conversion rate 0.5%, that's an extra 22 sales over 3 days. If I boosted a whole 1%, that's an extra like, what is that, like 44 sales over 3 days. I have a between $60 and $70 AOV. That is a lot of money. That is the difference between like hella profitability. I ain't gonna put a number on it, but like that's significant, bro. We talking about 44 additional sales bro, I could ask Alexa how much that shit is, but that's a lot, bro. That's a lot. Especially during this time, I'm damn near break even, bro. That's a lot, dog. So yeah, of course, if you're at lower spend, take what I'm talking about with a grain of salt. Like, you might not have to worry about these things, but at some point, it would be valuable to learn about these things, because if you're spending, X amount of money, like if you're spending probably like around $500, of course, I could have some main needle movers with my ads, but at this point, I even reference like what my ads were doing when I hit my 100K month. I have basically the same metrics. My CPC is about the same, 80 cents. My CTR is about 2.7%. My CPMs are about $20. Like, it's cool shit. Of course, you can't really control CPMs, but hey, like my hook rate, like people are watching. Like, bro, if 300 people are watching my ad, but only 11 people bought, bro, what the hell is going on? We had 300 people watch the whole ad, but only 10 people bought. Like, there's clearly something that's holding people. I also found out that on my listicle, I of a certain section, after people scroll past the like what is it, 80% of people scroll past the headline, then they get to the first reason of my listicle, in 60, or no, it might not be 60, I think it's something like 40% of people leave off my first reason. Once I read the first reason, I kind of understood, like, that probably ain't good. I understand why that's happening a little bit. But it's just these like little small changes where if more people hit the PDP, people aren't complaining about the price. They're complaining about other things. And me going through this whole process has given me more things to test. I was actually able to you know how I talked about like there was a belief that I wasn't targeted in my ad. Literally like one of my FAQ questions had kind of mentioned that belief in the question, and it was one of my most tapped places in the whole website, right? Like, and then I was also able to make the connection with like way bigger brands, like multi-million-dollar brands that are like not focused on the little guy, like the avatar that I'm targeting. They have one product line targeting those people, and they use that same keyword, that same belief on the products that they put out for this group of people, because they figured it out. These billion-dollar companies, they figured it out, and it's hard to figure it out for this group of people because they don't really talk about their shit. And I figured it out. So I think I'm actually about to reframe my whole positioning to do the same. But for now, of course I still have these current ads that are running how they're running. So I'm going to just optimize my website at those 2 points of at those 2 bottlenecks. Because shit, even if my drop rate goes from literally, mind you, everywhere else on my list too is like a maybe 2 to 8% drop rate. We have 1 point that literally drops around 40% of people off of 1 point. If that were to go down, shit, even if it's 10% more people moving on past that, that is significantly more people hitting my PDP. That's significantly more people getting warmed up. That's significantly more people everywhere else in the funnel. It trickles down.